This is not a phrase I thought I was ever going to say, but the Indiana Fever have in fact chosen Lexie Hull over Kelsey Mitchell. Um, I don't know what the situation is. My hope is that Kelsey Mitchell has basically come out and said she's not playing for 1 cent under the max next year, and that would be an assumption that I think is fairly fair to make, based on what you've heard from like from Lexie Hull, or say not like so Jesus from Kelsey Mitchell. I think money, really matters to her as it matters to all of us. So Lexie Hull signing on a 2-year deal, getting paid $800K next year, basically means the Indiana Fever cannot afford Kelsey Mitchell. It is as simple as that. It's not a situation where, they can make contracts work. No, they can't. Like, they pretty much can't. You pretty much have to, if you are the Indiana Fever, you're going to have to pay Aaliyah Boston something. Like, I'm not going to go out there and say that Aaliyah Boston's going to get paid the Supermax or anything. Because I don't think she's going to get paid the Supermax. But I don't think she's going to want the Supermax. Like, even if Aaliyah Boston takes the Kelsey Plum deal and leaves $400K on the table, they still can't afford Kelsey Mitchell. The only way, as a team, that you are able to afford, like, say, a quote-unquote big three, like, I don't think people understand this when it comes down to it, is that the reason why the Atlanta Dream are able to afford a super team is because Isabel Borlase is expected to be their backup point guard, and she's making a minimum. She's making the minimum, and she's making the minimum for 4 years. Holly Winterburn might come over. Probably is coming over to play. She's on the minimum for 4 years. Sika Kone is a reserved free agent. She is going to be probably their backup 4. She is on the minimum. Lorela Kubai might be their backup 5. She is on the minimum. Medina Okot might end up being an end-the-bench player, maybe a developmental pool to start the year. She's nearly on a minimum. This team has cheap size. And the thing is, when it comes to size, like, the Indiana Fever are paying for size. Size costs money. And the Atlanta Dream have cheap size. The New York Liberty, our players are willing to take pay cuts to be in New York because they want to win. 1, they want to win a championship. 2, it's New York. 3, it's a good organization. And 4, I don't think people realize that if you take out Beck Allen, and take out their big 4, who are probably all going to play for $1 million each. Beck Allen is making $350K, so she might as well be a minimum. Every single player on that New York Liberty team is on a minimum. Raquel Carrera, 4-year minimum. What's her name? Pauline Astier is a reserved free agent who will probably play on a minimum for the next 4 years. Rebecca Gardner is a reserve free agent. She's going to play on the minimum. You've got Hanju, if she comes over. It seems like she is. She's going to be playing on a minimum. And it is now one of these things where the Indiana Fever could have given Lexie Hull the 1-year Sophie Cunningham deal and tried to work around getting certain players and trying to find some like-for-like players in free agency and building a proper team. And it obviously is very much possible to build that team on the margins. We're seeing other teams doing it. But this organization doesn't scout overseas. And they had to make a choice realistically on whether they wanted to bring back Lexie for next year on $800K or try to find, or not bring her back and try to find some way to work contracts around and get Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah to take some form of a pay cut. And if that doesn't work, going out of their way to like try find players on the margins, but that's too difficult. Finding players on the margins is not easy. It's not easy at all. And I don't think Like, sorry, I'm not saying it's not easy at all. Convincing players on the margins to come to an organization for a minimum is not is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Because let's be completely honest here. Like, Pauline Astier was never going to choose the Indiana Fever over New York Liberty. But because this is an organization that has not been good on the margins. And I don't think people realize it, how bleak the entire situation is long term with the Indiana Fever. Like, the only reason this organization is not at the very bottom of the WNBA is because they have Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. Like, because the lottery balls favored them twice. This is a organization that very well could win 30 games. That is the only thing they have going for it. They're not an organization vets like to come to. They're not an organization that, as a whole, everyone's like, oh, but it's good for your brand. It depends on who you are. I mean that. It depends on who you are. Yes, it's been great for Caitlin Clark, for Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull's brand. It's been good for Aaliyah Boston. It's been good for Kelsey Mitchell. But I'm going to be completely real here. If you're Demiris Dantas, you're not going to benefit from being there. Whereas if you are Beck Allen, you're going to benefit from being in New York from some other stuff. So yeah, it is a really weird situation. It is a really, really weird situation. And wait, did Natasha Cloud just sign for the Liberty? No, she didn't. I just saw a post and it was like the Liberty starting five. And like Natasha Cloud could go and end up playing for the damn Liberty. Like the Liberty could afford her because they have people want to be in New York and it's funny. You can like a lot of people are like, oh, what foreign players want to live in Indiana? It's like I don't think people care that much. Like everywhere is big and vast compared to Prague and Czech Republic. Like everywhere is big and vast compared to Europe. So all these cities are big. And even with their facilities, everyone is going to have facilities. And you look at the Phoenix Mercury. What the Phoenix Mercury are doing is what the Fever should have been doing all along. The Phoenix Mercury have a proper scouting system. They've decided, you know what, we have draft picks. We're going to use our draft picks on stashes and get two high upside players with stashes. We're going to send them back to Europe and see in a couple of years' time how they're going to be. We might be able to bring them over as a minimum when they're ready. And then we're going to draft a bunch of players. We're going to take a bunch of players on training camp deals. We're expected to be second rounds, and we're going to bring over a bunch of Europeans. Like, that is what the Liberty are doing is what the Fever should have done. And it's unfortunate because it's not the Liberty, what the Mercury are doing. Because even if you take away the area, that's how you can play on the margins. And the Indiana Fever, we're in a situation now where it genuinely does seem like not where it seems like where they can't afford next season Kelsey Mitchell and Lexie Hull. And maybe there was a possibility that Kelsey Mitchell was going to take a bit of a pay cut. But I don't know if that's possible. Maybe she just said straight up no, which is why Lexie Hull was chosen. But the Indiana Fever do not have the money. They do not have the money to bring over these two players or to keep these two players with the way things are. And they chose Lexie over Kelsey. Anyway, see you guys.